It's January. The garden looks asleep, and honestly, the instinct right now is to just sit back and dream about the harvest. But experienced gardeners know the truth. Peace in the garden doesn't happen by accident, it's engineered. And the biggest mistake we make, we focus so much on the stars of the show, our tomatoes, our peppers, that we forget to hire their security detail until the pests have already arrived. If you wait until May to plant your companion plants, you're too late. The plants that protect your garden, the ones that confuse pests with scent, or trap beetles or signal the good bugs to come in, are often the slowest growers in the soil. So today, we are changing the timeline. I'm going to show you the top 10 companion plants that you need to start indoors right now in January. We aren't just filling seed trays, we are building an ecosystem. We'll cover the root protectors, the aromatic shields, and the pollinator magnets that need a 12-week head start to do their job. Let's get your garden defense system started. Let's dig in. First up, let's talk about the root protectors. These are the plants that work underground to secure the perimeter above ground. And it starts with the allium family. Onions. If you've ever pulled a carrot out of the ground and found it riddled with tunnels, you've met the carrot rust fly. They find your carrots by scent. But onions, they are the jamming signal. I start my onions in January, usually 10 to 12 weeks before my last frost, for one specific reason. Mass. If I plant a tiny onion seedling next to my carrots in May, it's not smelly enough to do the job. I need a robust, established plant that is releasing strong compounds into the air the moment those carrot flies wake up. Plant these in rows between your carrots, beets, and lettuce. It's intercropping 101. The onions confuse the pests, and the greens shade the soil for the onions. It's a perfect symbiotic relationship. Similar to onions but often overlooked is plant number 2, leeks. Leeks are fantastic because they grow vertically and take up very little footprint. I like to pair these with celery and onions to create a pungent patch that confuses general garden pests. Because they have such a long growing season, sometimes 100+ days, starting them now ensures you actually get a harvest before next winter. Now, let's talk about the trickiest one of the bunch, plant number 3, celery. Celery is a practice in patience. These seeds are tiny, and they are notoriously slow to germinate, sometimes taking 3 weeks just to pop. Why bother? Because celery is the best friend your brassicas will ever have. Cabbage moths, the white butterflies that lay those green worms on your broccoli, are repelled by the scent of celery. But here is the catch. Your broccoli grows fast. If you start celery at the same time as broccoli, the broccoli will shade it out and kill it. You have to start celery now, so it's a strong 4-inch transplant by the time you put your cabbage and broccoli out. You want them entering the garden as equals. So, get these 3 going under lights this week. They are slow starters, but they are the aromatic shield your spring garden is waiting for. Now let's move on to the herbs. Now, a common mistake I see is grouping all herbs into the same schedule. If you start your basil now, it'll be leggy and weak by May. But these, the woody herbs, rosemary, thyme, oregano, operate on a different timeline. They are the aromatic shields. To build up the volatile oils strong enough to deter a pest, they need a mature root system. Potency takes patience. Let's start with the toughest one, rosemary. Germinating rosemary can feel like waiting for water to boil. It has a low germination rate, sometimes only 30 to 50%. I sow these heavily in January on a heat mat. You need that warmth to wake them up. Why go through the trouble? Because the scent of mature rosemary confuses the Mexican bean beetle. I plant rosemary as anchors at the ends of my bean rows. It creates a scent barrier that protects the crop. Next is thyme, and I have to tell you a quick story about why this is in my top 10. 3 years ago, my broccoli looked like Swiss cheese. I lost the whole crop to cabbage worms. I didn't want to use heavy sprays, so the next year, I changed my strategy. I started thyme in January. By May, I had these thick, carpet-like mounds of thyme. I planted them around the base of my broccoli. The strong scent masked the brassicas so well, the moths literally flew right past them. That 3-month head start on the thyme made the difference between a harvest and a compost pile. Plus, thyme acts as a living mulch, keeping the soil cool and moist for the cabbage family. Plant number 6 is the rugged cousin, oregano. Oregano is a fantastic companion for peppers. It provides ground cover and general pest confusion. It's a slow creeper, so starting it indoors now gives you a plant that can actually compete with weeds come springtime. And finally, for this section, plant number 7, parsley. Now technically a biennial, not woody, but it behaves like one in terms of speed. Most people grow parsley for the kitchen. I grow it for my tomatoes. The tomato hornworm is a nightmare, but parasitic wasps, the good guys, love parsley flowers. If you let a few parsley plants flower near your tomatoes, you are calling in the air support. Parsley develops a long taproot very quickly. Don't start these in shallow trays. Use deep cells or pots right from the start in January so you don't stunt that root. A happy root means a stronger scent. These herbs are the backbone of a defensive garden. They don't just sit there, they actively patrol the airwaves with their scent, but to do that, they need time. We've talked about roots and leaves, but what about blooms? If you wait until May to plant your flowers, your vegetable garden is going to be a green desert for the first 6 weeks. You need color early to tell the pollinators the restaurant is open. Plant number 8 is lavender. Many people buy this as a plant because seed starting is intimidating. It often needs cold stratification, a fancy way of saying the seed needs to think it went through winter. I put my lavender seeds in a damp paper towel in the fridge for 3 weeks before planting. It mimics nature. Once they sprout, they grow incredibly slowly. Why bother? Because lavender is the ultimate companion for fruit trees and roses. It attracts pollinators before the fruit blossoms open, ensuring you actually get fruit set. Now plant number 9 is a heavy hitter, the geranium, specifically pelargonium. Most people buy these in flats at the nursery, but starting them from seed in January is a secret weapon against one of the worst garden pests, the Japanese beetle. Japanese beetles love geraniums, but here's the science-backed twist. Compounds in the petals actually paralyze the beetles. They eat it, get dizzy, and fall off the plant, making them easy pickings for predators. But here is the catch. Geraniums take 12 to 16 weeks to bloom from seed. If you want them fighting beetles in June, you have to start them in January. Pair them near your corn, grapes, or roses as a sacrificial shield. Finally, plant number 10, violas or pansies. Early spring weather is erratic. One day it's 60 degrees, the next it's freezing. Big pollinators like bumblebees are active in cool weather, but they need fuel. I plant violas right alongside my spinach, kale, and Swiss chard. They love the same cool temperatures. While your summer crops are still seedlings indoors, the violas are out there keeping the ecosystem alive, feeding the early foragers so they stick around for your tomatoes later. Lavender, geraniums, violas. They aren't just decoration, they are infrastructure. And like any good infrastructure project, they take time to build. Now, a warning. Starting seeds in January is different than starting them in April. The sun is weak, the days are short, and a sunny windowsill simply isn't enough. If you want these slow growers to be stocky and tough, not spindly and weak, they need artificial light. I run my lights 14 hours a day, keep the lights close, about 2 to 3 inches above the foliage. You are mimicking the intensity of the summer sun they will eventually meet. Temperature is the second key. Remember, we are growing a mix here. Your rosemary, thyme, and geraniums. They think they are in the Mediterranean. Use a heat mat to get them to germinate. But your onions, leeks, and violas, once they sprout, take them off the heat. They prefer it cool, around 60 to 65 degrees. Too much heat makes onions floppy. Speaking of onions, here is the secret to that robust root system, and the haircut. When your onion seedlings get about 5 inches tall, trim them back to 3 inches. It feels wrong to cut a baby plant, I know, but this forces the energy back down into the root and bulb. You'll do this multiple times before May. And honestly, this is the best part of starting in January. There is a specific kind of magic in trimming fresh onion greens or smelling rosemary under grow lights when there is a gray winter sky outside. It reminds you that winter is temporary. For us gardeners, January isn't a waiting room, it's the engine room. By starting these 10 plants now, you aren't just gardening, you're orchestrating a defense system. You're giving the protectors, the onions, the herbs, the flowers, the time they need to become strong enough to look after your vegetables. It's a strategy that lets you work smarter, not harder, come summertime. Now, I'm helping a lot of you plan your garden layouts right now, so I have a question for you. Which pest gave you the biggest headache last year? Was it the hornworm, the beetle, the aphid? Let me know in the comments below. I'll go through and reply with the specific companion plant pairing you need to add to your list. If you enjoyed this deep dive, make sure you're subscribed. Next week we're tackling 8 companion plants for lettuce. Until then, keep growing.